Okay, final pictures all done. Polling out today, showing that the race seat by seat is getting pretty tight. I'm going to get into some of that polling in a moment with David Briggs, the pollster from Galaxy. But let's get into some political headlines now with columnist at the Courier Mail and Sky News host Peter Gleeson. Gosh, Gleeson, I don't know about you, I'm pretty buggered waiting for this campaign to be over. I mean, it is easier than when I've done it before, being on the inside of politics, but it has been, for a boring campaign, it has been absolutely neck and neck all the way through these 5 weeks.
Yeah, it's fascinating, Peter, and I think the final 48 hours will be really crucial, and we can see today in the Galaxy polling that News Corp is releasing over the last sort of 6 to 8 hours that there is some real tightening going on, particularly in Queensland. A seat like Flynn, and I was there just last week, Peter, and I thought that the Labor guy had the momentum. 53-47, two-party preferred to the Liberal Party. We've got seats like Herbert, Lion Ball. We've got seats like Dixon, you know, the hotly contested. Get Up have spent so much money, so much time, as has the Labor Party, in the seat of Dixon, trying to unseat Peter Dutton, and yet it's 51-49, according to the YouGov Galaxy poll, in favour of Peter Dutton. So, look, plenty to look forward to over the next 48 hours, and, of course, as you say, the big day just 2 sleeps away.
It's interesting, you know, to get a landslide win coming into government, you've really got to win Queensland. I mean, that is the most important state. There might be some slight movements in net terms in other states, but I can't see a big shift out of Queensland, which means Scott Morrison will narrowly get over the line if he can hold what he's got and get a little bit more to put him in majority government terms. But if Bill Shorten is to win on these current poll numbers, it'll only be a very small win because Queensland doesn't look like it's in play. I'm interested, Gleeson, in your view on how true is that, particularly in and around Brisbane. I've got a handle on the other areas, but not so much Brisbane. But also, where do you think this One Nation Clive Palmer vote's going to go? Because I think people are under-predicting, under-polling where the Hanson vote will go. I think she'll do better on the night than people have said she will.
Oh, absolutely. There's no doubt she will do a lot better than what we're seeing in some of the polling, as will Clive Palmer. Clive Palmer's polling 8 to 10% in Queensland at the moment. That advertising blitzkrieg has been incredibly important. But there's been a big development in Queensland today, Peter. There's been a backbench revolt at State Parliament. I was actually down in George Street. I was actually down there this afternoon when a number of backbenchers from the Labor Party called a snap meeting, an emergency meeting with Anastasia Palaszczuk. They are fed up with being abused in Mackay, Rockhampton, Gladstone and Townsville by people coming in pre-polling, having a crack at them about the Palaszczuk government's inability to make a decision on Adani. I've said from the outset, I said this 6 months ago, Peter, the black-throated finch has the potential to bring down any hopes that Shorten has, because those seats, if you look at the polling and you look at the pre-polling, are already very much swinging towards the coalition. And, of course, we now know that when it comes to that particular project, the Adani project, the Palaszczuk government is not committing either way. And it's affecting, for example, a seat like Flynn, which is based on Gladstone, which is a resources-rich town. They are very much backing the LNP candidate. So I think it's all to play for. I don't think this is over by any stretch. No, I don't think it's over at all. As I said to you, you have to go back only to Malcolm Turnbull, but in all other recent elections, the coalition's numbers have improved from the Monday of the last news poll right through the week to the Saturday night. So I don't imagine it's going to be any different for Scott Morrison. Malcolm was very much the aberration. Hey, just talking a little bit before about Pauline Hanson, she had this hit out on the Today Show that tells you she is going to fight right down to the wire. Let's have a look.
I suppose in light of all the things you've faced, all the scandals, all that's been going on, can you really blame people for having their doubts about One Nation and considering Clive over you?
I've actually gone up since the last election. Unlike your show, Deb, since you've actually taken over, you've actually gone down in your viewership. So should you hand over your job or should we bring Carl back? Well, should we bring Carl back, you know? You have a go at me about this all the time.
Hey, she doesn't miss, does she, Gleeson?
She doesn't miss, and I've got there's a little asterisk here. I'm a good mate of Karl Stefanovic, so I've got to admit that. But I can tell you now, Pauline Hanson is a fighter. The reason for her longevity in Queensland is because she resonates with Queenslanders. We did a poll in the Sunday Mail about 12 months ago on the unprompted response on Queensland politicians. Pauline Hanson was so far in front, she was as far in front as the length of the Flemington Strait. Palaszczuk was number 2. I've seen her on the hustings. She is a rock star on the hustings. People, they either love her or they hate her, but in Queensland she resonates. Her preferences will play an extraordinarily key role in the upcoming election. And have a look at a seat like Longman, Peter. You know, in the by-election, they threw everything. Get Up, the unions, the Labor Party. That was the by-election that if it had gone to the coalition would have cost Bill Shorten his job. They realised that. They threw everything but the kitchen sink at that. Now, because there's so many self-funded retirees in Longman, people are being abused. I can tell you now, people, Labor how to vote handouters are being abused at polling booths, pre-polling booths in Longman because of the self-funded retiree attack. And I can tell you now, Longman is in play. Don't for a minute think that the coalition can't reclaim Longman.
Yeah, fascinating. When older Australians are giving you one at the ballot box, you know you're in trouble, at least in that seat. We'll see how it all plays out. Thanks very much for your time over the campaign, Gleeson, but also your insights for us tonight out of Queensland.